Okay, so here's the thing. I'm already standing up, so let's start this video. I literally just finished filming the outro to this and I'm starting a new project. I went to the Creative Knitter because of course I did. I can't use the yarn I already have. That'd be too simple. But also, I want to point out, I want to use 100% wool yarn for this project, okay? Have I used 100% wool for any project? Maybe a small project, but definitely not a project that I can wear. That will be fun. If the thumbnail didn't give it away, this is the Halloween pattern of 2024. I didn't even realize this was a thing, but I started making Halloween patterns back in 2022. The first one is the jack-o'-lantern, half green, half black colors. Love that one. The other one I made is the purple haunted house. Love that one. And this one I have been looking forward since May. You might have remembered me mentioning it when I made that one video with Stephanie from the Creative Knitter where she actually hand-dyed yarn for me. Remember that one? Where the top was a blue sky and the bottom was like a field of like purple and pink flowers. And remember how I was making that and I was just like, could you imagine if instead it was a graveyard and you had the spooky sky, then you had the tombstones, then you had the dirt, then you had the coffins and skeletons underneath? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm making it a vest. I have not had a lot of success with vests in the past, but it's because I never liked how they fit. I want a really loose, stretchy fit. Like this, you see how like loose this is? This is actually acrylic yarn that I steamed and I stretched the heck out of. Look at how nice and flowy that is now, right? I want to do that, but I know that wool is really good at doing that. I know that if you were to steam wool and block it, that thing is gonna be loosey-goosey, and that is what I'm trying to achieve this year. Let's go over the colors because I've already just told you the concept. Unfortunately, I did not have any of the colors. Actually, I do have one that I need, but it's for like a very small part. This is my color palette. They are all from the same brand, which never happens. Usually I get a bunch from different ones, but this is the Cascade Yarns, Cascade 220. And I'm pretty sure these were on sale. They're usually $12.99. I think I got it for like $11.99. I know it's expensive, okay? Like when you get to a certain point in your yarn journey, spending a little bit of extra money to have that garment that you want is 100% worth it. 100% Peruvian Highland wool. You get 100 grams, 220 yards, that's 200 meters, and they all are a medium worsted weight yarn. I was kind of going between worsted weight and DK, but I decided to do worsted weight because it is very similar to a regular acrylic, you know, the ones from Michael's, Impeccable, that kind of yarn. You don't have to buy wool yarn, okay? I'm trying to do an experiment with wool yarn because vests I've always had a problem with. I'm like, well, maybe if I use wool, the vests will turn out better. So this is an experiment for me, but I feel like this is probably the closest to like an Impeccable yarn, you know, just a regular 4-weight medium yarn, worsted yarn, so that way you at home don't have to buy wool. You can buy whatever yarn you like, because trust me, I would have went with acrylic if this was a sweater, and that was my idea until like 2 days before I bought the yarn. I'm like, I'm gonna do a vest. Anyhow, if you are new to my channel and you like crocheting and spooky content and chaos in the 80s, why not hit the subscribe button? Let's go in order of how I'm gonna do it. Okay, we're gonna start at the bottom. This is the dirt. In certain lighting, it's brown. In certain lighting, it is like a gray black. So this is gonna be the dirt. This one here is going to be some coffins that I am going to crochet inside the dirt. Really, really pretty. It was between this one and a brown yarn that I already had. The brown yarn I actually bought at Stephanie's, and she was able to look it up to see what color it was. And so when I was in the store, I picked out the one that I already owned and compared it to this one, and they were just too close in color that I just didn't feel comfortable using it. But like, you see how different these two are? Like the coffins are gonna stand out, and that's what I want. Then I have this here. This is a darker gray. In person, it's a lot darker, but this is going to be the tombstones. This here is going to be the sky. Now, I was kind of going between this or a green, and I wanted to stay with like the same brand. So when I was in the store comparing it, because she laid it all out, and we were just kind of like looking, and she has a really good eye for color, and we just put this purple next to the grays. We're like, this is it. This is the sky color. And then I got this light gray here, and this is actually going to be the border on the cuffs, the border on the bottom, and for the neckline. I don't know if I'm gonna do a V neckline or like a neckline kind of like this. Still debating on that. I just wanted a different gray to do that, so then that way it kind of stood out against the sky and it really painted a scene. But the whole reason I want to do a vest is because, one, timing. I don't think I have enough time to make a cardigan, but also I don't really wear cardigans as much as I would like to. Two, I didn't want to make a sweater because I didn't want to make sleeves. And 3, I want it to be front and back. I want the pattern to be on the front. I want the pattern to be on the back. And because of that, that's tapestry crocheting. That's going to be a lot of crocheting. And I just feel more comfortable if I didn't have to also do sleeves, because my original idea, I was actually going to do sleeves and they were going to match, but I just don't feel like doing that. I want to make a vest. I want to make a vest. Okay, like it's in my head. I'm going to make a vest. I want to make a vest, but I also want to make it oversized. So again, you see how like this is kind of loosey. I want to make the vest like this. I want it to be oversized. I want the arms to maybe even go down to here. I just want it to be a big oversized vest where I could wear like a turtleneck underneath it or a shirt underneath it, like a little cute collar underneath it. I want it so that way when I wear a layering piece underneath, it's not going to be so restrictive and so tight. I am so excited to start this project because I have been thinking about it since May. This is the design that I kind of came up with. It feels very boring. The colors that I picked, they're not flat. That's what I'm trying to say. They're not flat. There's a lot of like, Stephanie said there was a word for it and I can't remember. So I feel like it's gonna look a lot better. Also, I think that if I make it and it looks still a little bit boring, because like that looks really boring. Like in my head, like I see this whole like scene and then looking at it, I'm like, is that really what I want? Like it looks really boring. I do have to say that guy, he looks amazing. He looks pretty good. The coffin's a little boring. It's just a box. I don't know if I'm gonna put that border around it though. I might sew that in later. I also don't know if I'm gonna put a highlight around those tombstones. I also don't know if I'm gonna put lettering on them either, like RIP. I'm starting now and we'll see how far I get today. At Crochet Club, I realized I made a big mistake and had to take apart a lot of rows.
Several days later.
Vest update. I actually did go back to the Creative Knitter today to buy more yarn, which I forgot to film until I got back in the car. Also, I did change my room up a little bit. I know it's not a big deal, but like you see those like doors there? They are like the bifold doors with the wooden slats. I found them on the side of the road about a year ago. Someone was throwing them away and I'm like, those can fit in my car, and they did. So I think the reason they were getting rid of them because they were a little dirty and there's a little bit of paint on it, but I don't care. And now they're here, and I know my bed is against it because you'd be like, Michelle, they're doors. You cannot open them if your bed is against them. Well, here's the thing. I don't care. I'm not using them as doors. They are a makeshift wall because behind that wall is my sister's closet. And before I used to just have a curtain. Our house is built weird. When they built this house in like 1856, they're like, hey, we don't need closets. We have 3 items of clothing. So it was just kind of wide open, and hear me out. That there originally was my closet, and then I moved out, and then my sister took it over. And there's a door on the other side. I just want to say, like, I love those doors. They are amazing, and I love them, and I just love looking at them, even though they don't function. I just like them as a wall. It was cheaper than building a wall, right? So instead of me getting drywall and construction and getting my dad to do that, doors. Thought I would just share that. Update on this. I'm getting pretty far. Like, this is actually pretty good. Like, this is what I've gotten so far. Okay, I got the skeleton man. I love him. I think he looks so gosh darn good. I thought that the coffin would be like looking better. The coffin is really kind of just hard to see just because of the brown. The other browns just wouldn't work because they're either too dark or too light. And I'm thinking maybe I should have went with a lighter brown, but I mean, it's fine. If I want to do a border, I can do a border later. Now, what ended up happening is the reason why I had to go get more yarn is because I had just finished the dirt part. I have this much left over. And I just don't think that this is going to be enough to finish the back piece. And then when I was looking at my pattern, there's a lot more purple, like a lot more purple in the sky than there is dirt in the ground. I know this will be enough for the front panel, but if I'm at this point with the dirt, I'm definitely going to use way more of the purple. So I just went back and I got another purple and I got another brown. For everything else, I think I'm going to have enough. I just want to show you the little update I got. I think this skeleton man looks so gosh darn good. And what I love about this, even though there are like spots in between each of the white right here, it's like bones, right? Bones. Hoping to get this front panel done today. That is my goal. And then I can just start working on the back panel. Oh no, wait. Sorry. This is actually the back panel. Usually I do the front and then the back. But because I want like a V neck, I want to make sure that when I do the back panel, I can like put it up to me and being like, okay, well, if I want the V to start here, then I know where to stop on my pattern. I think that just makes so much more sense for me. So that's where I am right now, and hopefully I can get the back piece done and I can start the front piece either today or tomorrow. We'll see, because I've already kind of bought yarn for my next project. Yeah, I thought I was doing well, but just looking at this, I'm not the biggest fan of using this dark color to spell this word out. On camera, you can see it, but in person, it's just kind of muddy. Unfortunately, gonna take out what I did today. I started like I think I did one row of the letters, like this row here last night. So that was just from today. That's fine. I'm just going to redo it. Should I do it in this, or maybe I should just do it in white so it really, really, really pops? I think I might just do it in the white like the skeleton. Totoro, has a fascination with the crochet hook now. Totoro needed to know what I was doing. Look at her. She's just a little angel, aren't you? She was sleeping. She was sleeping over there perfectly fine. And the second I turn on the camera, she's like, what are you up to? Anyways, last night I actually got the back panel done, and this is what it looks like. I think the only problem I have with it is that the coffin kind of blends way too much with the back. I don't know. I mean, like up close, you really can see the coffin, but like back here, it's kind of invisible. Again, it's supposed to be in the dirt, so I might do a border on it or something. I don't know yet. Anyways, I got this done. I got a lot of ends to be woven in. It looks okay. I think what I'm gonna do, again, I'm stretching the thing out. Like I am gonna block it as much as I can block it. I think I'm going to, I was gonna say build. I think I'm gonna make the entire thing. I'm going to attach it together. I'm going to put the ribbing on. I'm gonna do everything, and then I'm gonna block it all at once. Because part of me was like, do I just wanna like block the sections first and then do the ribbing? But I also want the ribbing to be really stretched out too. That's the plan. Also, oh yeah, that I gotta cover up with the faux wood wallpaper, that blue part. And what I'm really hoping today is to get at least halfway done the second piece, which will be the front piece. What I like about vests is that I don't have to make any sleeves. A lot of ribbing though, a lot more ribbing, but I think it's better than making sleeves. Anyways, hopefully I can get the bottom half done today, and we'll see where that goes. I went outside and I wound up the 2 new cakes. I definitely need this one. This one I probably don't need till tomorrow or the next day, but you know what? I was only gonna go out there once. I mean, I'll probably end up going out there for something else tomorrow. In case I don't have to, I just want to get them both done at the same time. Also, I'm watching Poltergeist for the very first time. I know, I love the 80s, and yet I haven't watched that movie. I understand where Stranger Things comes from now. I understand where it comes from. There's a lot of similarities. That's all I'm saying. And I think that's why I'm quite enjoying this movie. It's because it reminds me of Stranger Things, even though Stranger Things should be reminding me of this movie because I didn't watch them in the right order. It's very Stranger Things vibes. Or Stranger Things is very Poltergeist vibes. I don't know why, but I have the most difficult time keeping track of these coffins. I think I did something here wrong. On camera, I really can see the difference, but in person, I can't. Like, it's really hard to distinguish. Yesterday, I got all of this done. I know. I think last time to get here, it took me like 3 different days. I think I started at like 2 o'clock yesterday, and I think I finished, besides like lunches and little TikTok breaks and dinner, I finished around 8 o'clock. What I'm really hoping is to get the rest of it done today. That would be amazing, because then tomorrow I can start working on all the ribbing. Hopefully to get this part done today. Really hoping to do that. What I'm doing is, I don't know if you remembered this, it's a square neckline, but I like where it hits right here. And so what I'm thinking is maybe that's where I'll start the V, which is honestly very close to the top of this tombstone. So if I look at this, I think 15 down, but looking at it, I think I could even start the V, I think right here. I want a little bit of purple before I start the V part. I just got up to here. Also, it is very wavy right now, and that is because I was hiding the purple yarn underneath here, so it's making this a little bit more thicker. And once it's done, you know, it's fine. 5 more rows. And then I have to start doing the V part, which I'm not entirely sure I'm gonna do that yet. Good thing I wound this up yesterday because I just ran out of yarn and I tied it up. So now I'm actually at the part where I have to do the middle piece. And to do this, I'm trying to remember how I do it. I think I have to I'm gonna count to 40 because it's 80, 40, and then I have to work my way back and I have to do one side at a time. So when I get here, I have to decrease each row up. Again, I only have to do one side at a time. And so if the one side doesn't work out, then I'll redo it. So it's not like I have to do both and take apart the whole thing. And you know what? If the V doesn't work out, I'll just do a square neckline and cut my losses because I don't want to spend too much time figuring this out. This is what the V looks like. It actually lined up like perfectly with the middle of this. And like, let me tell you, I did not plan that. I'm like, this looks like the center, but I didn't like center it, but it centered itself. Yay. This is what the V looks like right now. I accidentally added like an extra stitch down here because I thought it was a stitch. Turns out it wasn't, but I was already up to here and I'm like, I'm not turning back. It's fine. Ribbing's gonna go on it anyways. I don't care. So this is what half of it looks like. Now I have to do the other half. So the other half is also going to come out to here. Now this didn't take me very long to do. In the end result, after it's like blocked and stretched really much, I don't want this V part to be very like open, even though I'll probably be wearing like a turtleneck or a button up underneath it. I don't want it to be too open anyways. So I feel like that's okay. And I think once it's stretched out, it's fine. And then once I add the ribbing, this for example is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what 6 high would be. This yarn here is just a little bit thinner than this yarn. And that's like 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 5 up. I like that. That's okay. All right, so now I'm gonna work on the other side now. Remember those vests that I made a while ago? I never wore them because I didn't like it. Well, when I did those vests, I did do this like V opening and it taught me a lot, and thank goodness. So when you're doing a V stitch, when you're on to the next side, you want to follow in the same direction. Otherwise, these stitches aren't gonna look right. In this one, I was going this way and then I started it and I went back and forth. So technically when I start this section here, because I already did this, I am now coming back and going this way, which means I need to start my stitches here and go this way and go up like that. And then that way it looks cohesive and it doesn't look like I stopped and started again, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's just a little tip that I found very useful. Just finished the front piece. I think it's looking pretty good. The V does look a lot better now that I see the second half. I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to attach everything together. Again, I want to block it out when the whole thing is done, and that way the ribbing also gets stretched out and blocked out. 2 days worth of work. That's pretty good for me. So yesterday I finished the top or the front part. I think the V is looking pretty good. Then at Yarn Club today, I finished attaching the sides together. I did the mattress stitch, and honestly, I think this is probably the best job I've ever done on with the mattress stitch. It looks so good. It looks so good. So anyways, I attached it. I attached the sides, and then I did the cuffs. Or not, it's not the cuffs. It's like the armband. I started doing the bottom one, and I did it double the size. So this is 8. I'm hoping to get the bottom done today and this done today. And then that way I can block this tomorrow, because I was talking to Stephanie at the yarn store and she says it's going to take a few days. I need to get this in water, soaking, rinsed out, and blocked. And then she also said to weave in the ends when I'm done blocking. So I'm going to listen to her because she's the expert. As long as I can get the ribbing on the bottom done, this I can do tomorrow and get it done super fast. I want it blocked tomorrow. So even if I have to do a little bit of crocheting tomorrow, I want to get the blocking process started tomorrow. Last night I got most of the ribbing done on the bottom. I just have to do this part here, and then I also have to do the neckline. I wasn't able to get it done last night. It was like 8 o'clock, and I know I could have done more. I had to wake up early, go to work. So I'm gonna finish it today, and then I am gonna do a try on to show you what it looks like pre-blocked, and then I'm going to block it and show you all that, because then it's gonna have to sit for a few days before I can do the final try on. That's okay, I have another project to work on. Come on, Totoro. Good job. Hi, she came out of nowhere. So yeah, just gonna finish the ribbing and then try on before blocking and then trying it on again. Finished the vest. All right, you really can see the coffin. In certain lights you can't see it, and in certain lighting you can't. This is what it's looking like, and of course the back is the same. Again, this is pre-blocked, so I'm gonna try it on, I'm gonna show you how it fits, and then we're gonna do the whole blocking. And that's gonna take a few days, so I needed to get this done sooner than later. I don't really care if you see my face. I need you to see this. Also, again, not weaving the ends in until it's all done. All right, so this is what it's looking like. It's giving like this. It's like football player. Not a fan of that. I don't like the shape right now. Like right now, I do not like the shape of like these arms. I just don't like it. In the end, after I block the whole thing and the arms are still like weird like this, I might just have to take the ribbing off. It's a T shape. The broad shoulders, not great. The side, it's okay. It's just very like chunky and like it's okay. Like it looks okay. I think that if there was sleeves on it, I might just leave it as is. Also, the V is a little bit higher than I thought, but this is what it looks like. All right, like look at these. Look at that. That's just so much. I should have tapered it in. I just didn't think about it. I didn't think about tapering it. The whole premise of this is I want it to be oversized. Like, I don't mind it if this is oversized, if also the side is oversized and the bottom is oversized and it's just like very drapey and flowy. And that is what we're gonna do now, okay? So you've seen this, not too happy with it. It's okay, I have a vision, and that's to block it out. I'm going to take this, I think I have to soak it for 30 minutes on like lukewarm water, like not even warm water, just room temperature water, not cold, not hot, just right in the middle. That's what we're gonna do. And then I have to block it and stretch it, and I have to stretch it for like 3 days. That has to be done by Saturday morning. Hopefully it will be. It's blocking time. So this is what it looks like before I stretch it out. And this is what it looks like after I've stretched it out and pinned it.
2 days later.
So I let this dry half of Wednesday, all day Thursday. Thursday night is Friday morning now, and honestly, I feel like it's dry. I can't tell if it's wet or cold. I think it's not gonna stretch any more than this. So I'm gonna take the pins out. We'll see how much this stretched out. Hopefully enough. Also, I've already started working on my next project while I let this dry. Quick update on this. I just don't like how the sleeves look. So I think I'm gonna take off the gray ribbing. I think it would look better. It's just the way it sticks out. It's just not the look that I want. I like it, but it's just not quite how I envisioned it. So I will be taking off the gray ribbing. That's the update on that. I just don't like, I don't like the ribbing on the side. Hopefully it looks better without it. I'll do one and I'll see how I like it. So we'll see. All right, I just took the sleeve off the one. I left the other one so you can see the difference. Much better, right? Without it, so much better. I don't even think I'm gonna do an edge because it looks so nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this one off too. I think it looks pretty good. Then I'm gonna weave in all the ends. I'm so glad that worked out, because if it didn't, I wouldn't be too happy, but it did. I actually finished the video. I'm editing it. I'm editing the outro as we speak. But I don't like it. I don't like it, and I think, one, I wore the wrong shirt, so I'm like, let me just test something out. I put this really cute button up underneath it, so much better. Second, I tried thinking maybe if I let this open a little bit, no, I gotta close that back up. I folded over the top, and I like it so much better. All this and all of this editing that's taken me time to do was pointless, because I'm gonna refilm the ending because I actually just didn't like how it fit. Like, I was really trying to psych myself up to be like, yeah, you like it. You like this with the little adjustment here and the right top. I like it now. I will be redoing the outro now. I just don't like how that looks, but that's okay. I got time. It's done again. As you saw yesterday, I filmed the whole outro. Thought I was done. I thought it looked okay. I think in my head I kept like just psyching myself up, being like, hey, like it's okay. It's as good as you can do it. It's fine. And then like editing it and like just looking at it. Like, here's the thing, I filmed the whole outro and I did a whole like rough edit. Probably spent like 30 to 40 minutes just on the outro. I was watching myself I saw it in my eyes that I was not happy with it. And like, I kept trying to convince myself, like, you did good, it's great. I just didn't like how the shoulders were. I thought that taking the ribbing off would help it. It helped it a little bit. And then I just decided last night, you know what? Let's just tuck them in. And that is what I did. And you know what? I love it now. Like, I love it. In the first version, I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. I really like this. Like, I really like this. I also think what I was wearing with it was that black turtleneck. It didn't really work, but like with this cute little button-up shirt with the cute little like collar. Again, that is why I did the V for the collar. It's so cute now. I don't know how the back looks. Does the back look okay? I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy. You can see that this is genuine. I'm not just lying to myself again. This is the fit that I wanted. Okay, now I just gotta remember everything else that I said in that outro. It took me 24 hours to make. 2 of those hours were spent doing the trim up here, the ribbing. So technically 22 hours, maybe 22 and a half, because then I had to like take it apart and redo it. So what I ended up doing is, you can see here, all I did was I tucked it in and I just kind of gave it a little like, did I not weave in the ends? That I will, okay, just ignore that. I'll do it later, okay? Was I just kind of tucked it in and I just give it a little slip stitch, not slip stitch, it's just a little stitch, okay? You can't even see the stitches. Like if you look, I stitched it right on the edge and I kind of matched it up with the crochet holes. So then that way it kind of blended in. I didn't sew it all the way down here. I think I sewed it to like about here and left this open. I don't think it needed to be done like that, because then that would have given me that same shape I didn't want. Whereas if it's open here, it's still a little baggier. It looks so much better. So I'm just gonna stand still for a minute, and hopefully I stood still for a minute in the other one. And so you can kind of see the differences. It's just the shoulders, and the way that the shoulders stuck out, it just gave this weird shape here that I wasn't a fan of and I didn't want. It just looks so much better. I also think it looks better with the short sleeve. I think the long sleeve was just, it was too tight on my arms, and then it just made this look way bigger than it actually was, even though I wanted to look big. Like I wanted oversized. It just wasn't the right proportions, if that makes sense. Blocking it definitely helped. You can see how nice and loose and flowy it is, and how loose and flowy it is right here. So the blocking did help. I think I only had it blocked half of Wednesday, all day Thursday, then Thursday night into Friday morning, roughly 2 days to block it and have it dry. I think it was dry. I couldn't tell if it was just cold or it was wet. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you go to a dryer and you put your hand in there and you're like, is this wet or is it just cold because I've left it in here for too long? Maybe that's just me thing. But I think it was dry. It's definitely dry now. It's definitely dry now. Let's talk a little bit about this. First off, I think the main attraction and the best thing about this is the little skeleton man. I don't know how sometimes I do things. I didn't want him standing up straight, and I didn't want him on the side. This angle was just so cool, and I really like him. I think it's just so cute. And again, on the back, like I don't think this would have looked as good if it was plain on the back. I love that I added stuff onto the back, and then I also added the little cross to the coffin. I think that looks pretty good. I wanted like the more like, you know, vampire coffin where it's like put the shape here. I wanted that, but I really just couldn't figure that out when I was drawing it out, so I just made a box. And then I really like what I did up here, the RIP in the white. Good move. Even though like there's a real difference between these two colors here, this darker color just didn't really show up the way that I wanted to, and switching it to the white was definitely a good move. And I had enough space that I could crochet it. If the tombstones were any smaller, I probably would have just done what I did with the little cross here and just kind of stitched it in. I love crocheting letters. The wool yarn, it's not scratchy. Like, it's wool yarn, so it's gonna be a little bit of itch, a little bit of scratch. It's fine. It's fine. It's not like super itchy, okay? I've bought yarn that there was still hay in the yarn. That was itchy. This one here, after blocking, super flowy. It's soft. I mean, it's not as soft as acrylic would be or cotton, but I mean, it's good. I like it. I want to do definitely more projects with just 100% wool because I love how it blocked out. Like, look at how it blocked out. It's so nice. I'll show on the back again. It just blocked out so nice, especially with the border. I have a lot of trouble when it comes to doing the border on the bottom. Sometimes I just do it too tight and then it just like sits weird. And sometimes I make them like too long or too small. Personally, I think I could have gotten away with doing half the size and just doing 4. I didn't know how well it was gonna block out, and I didn't want to make it any smaller. You know what I mean? I didn't want to make it too small, and then it just didn't block out the way I wanted, and then it would have been too short. But I think that I could have made it like that size. That would have also worked, but I mean, I'm not taking the ribbing off and I'm not doing it again, okay? I made so many mistakes with this project. The V I think I did a really good job on that. It's the perfect size for the collar. Again, that's why I wanted to do this little V here, is so I could wear a little cute collar over top of it and like it still shows. Whereas if I would have done like a square neckline, I mean, I guess that could have worked too. I just didn't want it to be like all the way up here. You know, surprisingly, it's not giving me football shoulders. Like I thought that these would have been like a little bit more bulkier, but you know what? It just looks a little structured. The 80s had a lot of these like shoulder pads and like structured shoulders. So I mean, like, it's cool, it's fine. The other one, like you saw, it just went too far and it made this weird shape here, whereas this looks like a vest. I know this for the future, okay? I know that if I'm gonna make another vest, I should taper it up. But I also feel like if I would have tapered this up, then the tombstones would have had to been closer together. Maybe they wouldn't have been as big because I would have needed that space to like, you know, decrease. And I'll take that into account if I make another vest. Again, I would like to redeem myself and make another one properly eventually, but I've got so many other projects to do. I even bought the art for the next one, like I've already mentioned, and I've already started it, so yay. I think this is probably my favorite design out of the last 3 years of making the Halloween project. This pattern will be on my Patreon. If you're not aware, I do have a Patreon. It is $5 a month Canadian. Depending on where you live in the world, prices may vary. Currency and exchange and rates and stuff like that. This pattern will be on there, and I also have all the previous patterns. So the jack-o'-lantern pattern is going to be on there, and the haunted house pattern is going to be on there. You know, you'll get all the patterns. I think I'm going to leave it the same dimensions and everything on the pattern. You at home can like figure it out. Not figure it out for yourself, but figure out what best suits you. Maybe you like the bigger shoulders. Maybe you will taper it in, but I don't want to like make those adjustments if they don't work because I didn't do them. You know what I mean? I think that pretty much sums up this video. I am very happy with how this turned out. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just thought it looked okay, and then I sat with it over the night and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna redo it. And I did, and I'm very happy. And again, like, I am very honest with y'all that if I don't like something, I will redo it and I will let you know that I don't like something. I think that does it for this video. Y'all have a good day now.